Hello.
I'm here. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing,
I'm
lady?
good, thank you. Is this good in terms of sound? This is what I usually use. So
Yeah.
if you're
Yeah,
happy,
no,
I'm
it's
happy.
great.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Hi.
I've been having some issues with my sound. I feel like I'm a constant tech issue.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That is not fun. That is not
I
fun at all.
know.
How are things going? How's
Um,
your summer?
It's been good. It's been good. It's like actually a little bit more chill than usual. Like my kids are just home this week with the nanny, and it's like I was like, oh, I feel bad that they're not in camps with other kids, but at the same time, like it's been
So
kind of nice for
nice.
them. They're like doing snail races outside, and you know what I mean, like just kid stuff,
Being
which is
kids. I was
nice.
about to say,
Yeah,
that's fabulous. Good for you.
yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
awesome. Yay. Great.
Yay! All right, so we're gonna dive right in and take advantage of our time together.
So ready.
Um,
Thank you.
so the why do we have well, this little bit right here will just be on YouTube, but then I'm going to clap and then that'll be the podcast. And then at the end, I'll ask you for a nugget of wisdom. And then once you've shared, I'll clap again, and that'll be the end of the podcast recording. But don't go because then we can have a quick chat before we sign off. Sound good?
Yes.
All right, let's do this.
100%. I'm just writing down my nugget of wisdom that just came to mind.
Whoa. Okay.
Okay, I'm with you.
And all right. I'm Rebecca Hay, and I've built a successful interior design business by trial and error, podcasts, online courses, and so many freaking books. Over the last decade, I've grown from an insecure student to having false starts to careers, and now I'm finally in the place where I want to be. Throughout my journey, it's been pretty obvious that I'm passionate about business and helping other entrepreneurs do the same. Each week, I'll share tangible takeaways from my own experience and the experiences of other badass women to help you build your confidence and change your business. Welcome, Liat, to the Resilient by Design podcast. I'm so thrilled to finally have you on my podcast because you so graciously had me on yours a while back.
I feel like we're going to have a lot of time after this just to catch up because this has been a long time in the works. Thank you so much for having me. It is a real honor to be here.
I'm so excited. So why don't we just kickstart this by you sharing with everyone sort of who you are and what you're all about?
Absolutely. So my name is Liat Horovitz. I am South African. I was raised in South Africa, as you can hear with the accent, but I live in Toronto. I've been here for 20 years. That's a little long. I've been here for 10 years. Otherwise, that would age me a lot. And I am a results coach. I have a podcast. I work with clients who are driven high performers to achieve their ultimate results in life and business. And I came from the corporate world. I worked in corporate and in tech, specifically in the marketing space for 13 years, and then figured I needed to find what I want to do with my life when I grow up. And so I went off and did that, became a coach, and fast forward a bunch of years, I think 4 years to be specific in this business. And I have never been happier and more fulfilled on the right track. So that's my story in a nutshell.
Oh my God, I love that. I love that. Okay. So many things that I want to talk about because lately I've been following your journey on Instagram here and there, and I saw that you just were on live television. Tell me about that experience.
It's funny because I always dreamt of being on TV for real. And I've done certain things in my past and certain adventures and certain hobbies and things that I guess I'd hoped would take me in that direction. And then this happened so organically and naturally because I met someone who works for breakfast television whilst volunteering at my son's school. And we started chatting. And then she was like, who are you and what do you do? What kind of a teacher are you? So I said, no, I'm not a teacher. I'm just a volunteer. Anyway, long story short, she was like, I would love to have you on the show. And fast forward, and there I was on a breakfast television segment in the morning, talking all about morning routine and how to set yourself up for a power day ahead, because morning routine is so important. And a lot of people really profess that you should have a very specific morning routine. I agree, but I also disagree that you really need to customize it for yourself. So I had such a privilege to go on breakfast television and talk about it in a very short segment about what my 3 sort of non-negotiables are for the morning routine. And It was, I didn't want to leave the couch. That's all I'm going to say. I was like, is it over? Why? I don't want to go.
You're like, I can host this show. I could stay here.
Exactly. So yeah, they were really kind and fabulous and just such nice people. Honestly, not that I'm surprised, but I guess I was even more so pleasantly surprised at how lovely they were. And hopefully I'll be back. Let's see.
Awesome. I love that. I think that's
Thank
amazing.
you.
I did one stint in morning television on CHCH, Morning Live. And
Yeah.
I did not enjoy having to wake up so early. And I thought, how do people do this for a living?
I don't know. That was next level. I think those presenters are waking up at 3 a.m. for hair and makeup.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know about that. That's a
They
different
must be
life.
asleep by like 7.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Anyways, okay. I really want to talk about morning routine because Liat, this has been like the struggle of my life. And I probably by life, I mean like the last 3 years since I realized this is something that I need. I have personally, I just can't get out of bed. And part of it is that I don't get great night's sleeps because my kids are up or my husband's snoring. So then I go and I sleep in my son's bottom bunk. And then I'm like, okay, I just need every extra wink. But then I hate waking up. And like, this isn't just all about me, but I feel like others can relate. I hate waking up in the morning after my kids and then feeling like I never have enough time. And I'm thrust into the day. I'm thrust into my work. I'm getting in the car. The neighbors are out having a coffee, chat, and they're like, oh, hey, good morning. I'm like, yeah, peace out, F off. I have to get to the office. And then 100%. I'm like, boom, thrust into my day. Like, how do you do it? Like, I'm like, oh, I should exercise and I should. And there's so many shoulds out there that it almost feels so daunting and so overwhelming. And I know that if I want to be successful and at ease, I think, with myself in the day, then it starts there. Like I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, but I just can't
activate on it.
Yeah. Is that like normal? Do you hear your clients say that all the time?
I don't just hear my clients saying that all the time. I say that too. Like that is totally normal, 100%. I will say a few things. Like I made notes quickly while you were talking. A few things jumped out at me. Number one is that it is a process. You cannot go from how you are right now to waking up at like 5 a.m. and having this 2-hour scheduled, customized morning routine. And it's like life-changing from one day to the next. That is unrealistic. So that's my first thing I'm going to tell you is like, if you really want to change it, just be realistic about the fact that it's going to be a bit of a journey and you're going to have to take this path to figure out what works for you, because that is the key. It's not about what the books say and what anybody else says. It's what would be ideal for you as Rebecca, mom of, I think it's 3 kids.
Nope, just 2 kids. Like more, 2 kids, but just 2.
100%. Business owner, multiple moving parts, offerings, business, all that kind of stuff. And all these things make it specific and personalized to you. So you can't have the same morning routine as me or anybody else. That's the first thing. The other thing I wanted to say is you hit the nail on the head as you were talking. The first thing you said was, I probably don't get a great night's sleep. The key to morning routine is in the nighttime routine. So people think, let me figure out what I've got to do in the morning.
I've heard that. It's so freaking hard.
So what actually has to change before anything, if you wanted to, is visiting your nighttime routine, tweaking that, and then we can talk about the morning. It's like, which comes first, the chicken or the egg? In this case, it's the nighttime routine before the morning routine. If you are not getting a good night's sleep, if you're not getting enough sleep and the quality of your sleep is not great, there is no way you're going to be motivated or want to wake up earlier in the morning. And so this is where my journey started. I thought it was all about the morning. I read the books, I did the things, woke up early, tried it, felt hideous about it, didn't love it. Then I was like, don't be silly. Like if I don't change my habits at night, I'm still going to bed at midnight or whatever it is and watching shows and scrolling till that time. And then the eyes are closing and you kind of keep them up. If you were seeing us now, you would see like I'm holding my eyes like matchsticks, holding them open. that is not good for helpful sleep. So I actually changed everything about my nighttime routine. I used to be a night owl and I go to bed much earlier. It doesn't have to be insane. You don't have to go to bed at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, but a bit earlier. And what you're doing before bed is crucial. I don't watch things anymore. I know this is extreme, but I don't. I don't watch Netflix. I don't watch YouTube. I don't scroll. I actually read, and I read fiction or memoirs, and I find books that I absolutely love. And I basically go into this dreamy state where I'm reading. My brain is calm. I've switched off from work and children and everything else that kind of buzzes you up. And then I fall asleep into this magical sleep land. I don't know. It just feels so different. Anyone who reads at night and then goes to sleep will tell you that their sleep is different if they were watching or scrolling.
I want to add, like, it's so interesting to hear you say that, because there's been in recent time a few nights where I've had insomnia, and I'm never really been that person. I don't fall asleep instantly like my husband. He closes his eyes and he's already snoring. But
how do they do that? I have that
right?
too. Yeah.
Anyways, but we've been watching, not every night, but there were a few nights we were watching television, specifically Succession, which is my new obsession. It's a fantastic show, but it's very stimulating to me. And so my husband pointed out, he's like, babe, you can't watch TV before bed. It lulls him to sleep and it prevents me from sleeping. Absolutely. And so I'm like very aware of that now, that it doesn't even really matter. Okay, yeah, that might be a stimulating show, but like sometimes I kind of get caught up. I'm like, oh, I'm going to watch this YouTube video of this like influencer, or I just wanted to check that thing. And maybe I'll open up my laptop because like I didn't get that thing done. If I get it done now, then I don't have to do it tomorrow. Like
there we go.
A million excuses we tell ourselves.
Yeah,
and then
it's a slippery slope. Yeah, it's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
So I would say that the whole thing about watching at night, it's a very difficult relationship that I'm not saying everybody has to get rid of. I'm just saying you have to find what works for you. And it may mean having to, like, dealing with a bit of a breakup, like you're dealing with grief. I used to love my shows, like love. I would get into a show. My issue was I couldn't stop after one episode. If I could, I wouldn't have a problem. If I'd watch one episode and then go to bed and read for a bit and go to sleep, but I know my personality. I tried it, it didn't work. So you have to figure out what can work for you and then act accordingly so that you do get that calm down before bed. Because like you say, you are wired after work, watching a show, whatever it is. I just want to add one more thing. I have this like hard and fast rule that unintentionally I came up with for myself. And that was when my kids were little, I used to, take them upstairs to bed. And we would do bath time and bedtime. And then by the time they were done, whatever, 8:30, 9 now, 9:30, because they're older. If I came back downstairs after I was done with them, it's like me riding the night off. Like it's a disaster. I will eat things that I don't necessarily even want, but I just like, what can I snack on? Number one. Number two, I most probably will work, which is a slippery slope into never-ending abyss of what else can I do. And number three is I will probably watch something or procrastinate the bedtime. And so I'm going to bed super late. And I kind of just give it up as if to say this night is a write-off. Whereas if I stay upstairs and I've cleaned the kitchen before we go upstairs and I've eaten the dinner and the whatever, if it's fruit or whatever afterwards, before we go upstairs, and like everything is kind of sorted out, and then we physically go upstairs and I make a mental note, you're not going back down. It's like my night is 80% made already. It's so like success.
First of all, a few things that I love that you said there. One is that you do the dishes and you clean up that mess before. Yeah. I find that very powerful. Like I don't always do that, but now hearing you say that, I listened to an episode of the Mel Robbins podcast once where she was like, don't leave dirty dishes overnight. Like nobody wants to come down and start their day that way. And I'm like, I know that, but then I get tired and I'm lazy and I'm like, oh, we'll just, just soak overnight. And so I found that makes a difference, is like doing those dishes. But my question for you is, how much of this sort of need to maybe binge watch or go downstairs and eat a snack after the kids go to bed has to do with us feeling, especially as women, I'm going to say, and it's mostly females listening to this podcast and moms, is how much of that is like, we're not
Me
taking time for
time.
ourselves.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
we're so, okay, I'll speak for myself. I'm so desperate for me time that I'm
Absolutely.
like, I have an hour and a half. I feel like I feel gypped if I don't get it.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah.
And I think it's because I'm not filling my cup up by taking a day, by doing something on the weekend, that the week nights feel like it's all I have. Do you know what I mean?
I absolutely know what you mean. And I want that time as much as you do. In fact, it's not that I want my kids to go to bed so I can have it, although sometimes, of course, that happens. But the fact that my night could be over once they're asleep is like, it's impossible to me because I need my time. I just then choose to do things with that time that really, really serve me and what I really need and want. Not a band-aid for what I think I need and want, which would be unnecessary snacking, binge watching, and so on. Which, of course, have their place. Please don't get me wrong. I obviously sometimes do those things, but I do things like having a bath. Can I just say?
I love that.
Even if you're watching a show, I know this sounds crazy. I don't know what devices people use. I just use my laptop. If back in the day when I was watching something, but I didn't want to go back downstairs because again, leads it to an unhealthy place for me. I would just keep it upstairs and then I would watch while having a bubble bath. And I'm like, what is this fabulousness? This is so nice. Or like a herbal cup of tea, take it up with bedtime, keep it in one of those flasks that's covered so it stays warm. Then you can have it afterwards. These are like little tweaks to allow you to still have your evening, but with choices that actually are really in service of what you need and want. And a great book. I was never a reader, Rebecca, honestly. I know this sounds insane, as if I've always been one of those people that like gets into bed and cuddles with a good book. I was never that person. First time I read a book cover to cover was about 18 months ago. And it started by kind of like force.
I can relate.
I
can relate.
But then once you get into it and you start to open yourself up to the world of these stories, I was getting the fix more so from a good book than I was from a TV show. Because I'm sorry to say they're not making shows like they used to. They're not. Succession may be great, and there are other shows that are out there that are great, but I find that I would finish a show and then I'd be like a scavenger searching. What is the next show? Like
I know, and there's nothing.
Desperate.
There's nothing. You go through one streaming service to the next streaming service. There's nothing.
Right? So I'm saying, like, I have found that feeling in a really, really good book. And then I cannot wait to get into bed to read a few more pages. It's amazing.
I think it's interesting that you made the distinction by saying that you are reading books that are fiction or memoirs. And I think that's really important to highlight, because my tendency when I do read, and I have a hard time finishing books still because I jump on to the next one. It's just my personality, but I love business books. But the problem with the business books before bed,
no, you cannot,
is like, it starts going. The mind is spinning, the mind is ticking, go, go, go. And so there are times when I listen to a podcast, but before bed, I find it, I do better if I listen to like Michelle Obama's, or not a podcast, sorry, an audiobook. Yeah, sorry, that's what I meant. Right? Because it's not getting me thinking about strategic moves and, did I get that ad going? Or, this.
Totally. Yes, 100%. It's an absolute no from me if it comes to a business book, personal development, professional development, any learning at night. And I'll take it one step further because we're now into this. I am a big reader and consumer of the business books, the self-help, all the things. I find that not only do I learn from it, but I also pick up a lot of tips and tools for my clients and for my programs and for my retreats from these books. So I have a hard and fast rule. I don't read those hard copy. I actually listen to those during my day. So when I'm going for a run, when I'm working out, when I'm washing my dishes, I did like stacking the dishwasher, when I'm driving in my car on my own, or just going for a walk, any and every moment that I have where I'm not speaking to someone on the phone and I actually want to be listening to something, that is when I will audible all the business and personal development.
Yeah,
And then
I
at
love
night, such a clear distinction. It's reading for pleasure and calm.
it. That is so
Mm.
good. Okay. So the nighttime sorted. So then how do we in the morning, like a couple of
Yeah.
tips. Once we've got our nighttime sorted, what do we do?
So you said the next thing that was like a clear green light from me is waking up after your kids. If you have children, you're waking up on defense immediately. You have no second to breathe. Even if they've gone downstairs and they're older and they're sorting themselves out, the pressure and the expectation from you as a parent to then parent and to start the day is very different than if you woke up before them. Now, obviously, they're not robots. You can't be sure what time they for sure are going to wake up, but you have an idea. You have your children, and on an average day, if they're waking up at 6:30 or at 7 or at 7:30, you know that even if you woke up 15 minutes before them and just lay in bed, but woke up slowly on your terms, thinking the thoughts, doing the things that you want to do, rather than the bombardment of the day has started, the door bangs open, the child comes in, taps you on the shoulder, I'm hungry, I'm this, we got to get going, whatever, can I watch TV, can I have your phone? Whatever those questions are that we all get in the morning, that is where the secret lies. Now, if you want to take it a step further and actually do a few things before they even wake up, even if it's, I have some clients, and this is fascinating to me, they wake up before their kids just to go downstairs and have a coffee quietly at the kitchen table with nothing, with like no agenda, just to have that. And I'm like, that is remarkable. Because I don't know, first of all, I'm not a coffee drinker, but I don't think I would do that out of choice. Like if I woke up, I need something to be waking up for, even if I wake up slowly and have a bit of a routine. The other thing I will say is reach, and we all do it, me included, sometimes, reaching for that phone before you've even opened your eyes and your like consciousness is 100% there is the killer of productivity, specifically social media. Now I know I'm preaching because like this is what everyone will say, but there's a reason. I check my email, I check my WhatsApp. I do not check social media in the morning, ideally before 9 o'clock for me. However, if you want to do it, just do it later in the morning, because let's think about this. You've hardly opened your eyes. You have all the best intentions for a good day. You have a lot to get through, whatever it is, whether you're a business owner or you're an employee or you're a stay-at-home mom or you're just like a student, whatever it is, you have the best intentions. And you open up Instagram or you open up Facebook or even LinkedIn, and the first thing you see is someone else and their highlight reel, someone else and their win, someone else and their, whatever it is that they're celebrating, whatever. So you then, the comparison starts immediately and the stress starts. And what am I doing? And why don't I have that? And what do I need to do for that? How is that a healthy way to start your mental load for the day? It's not.
Yeah, I 1,000% agree. I catch myself. I'm like you. I mostly don't do it. I keep my phone in my bathroom overnight plugged in.
Ooh, power.
But which is like the ideal. But I'll reach it. Like this morning, I found myself, I woke up and I was like, because I don't have a morning routine, Liat, I'm like, what do I do now? Like, I feel like every morning I'm like, what do I do first? And so I reached for the phone and I was looking at it and like, it was like, I didn't have a reason. I just looked at my phone and I was like, what should I tap?
Yeah.
And then I went to Instagram and I was like,
what am I doing?
Rabbit hole, like go the other direction. I gotta put the freaking phone down. And I did. Yeah. But I was like, Rebecca, get your shit together. What are you doing?
So sometimes it's just as simple as, like, a lot of people like to work out in the morning. I'm one of those people, if that morning like dictates that possibility. But if not, it could be as simple as just get up and go get in the shower. Like, start the day with something that's for you out of choice, not out of habit. Oh, I like that. I think I should quote that. Start your day with something for you out of choice and not out of habit. Because going to Instagram is a habit. And I have it too, so badly. In fact, yesterday I removed Facebook from my phone. I wasn't brave enough to remove Instagram because I still check it more for work. But I removed Facebook from my phone because I realized so many times a day I'm tapping into that app for absolutely no reason other than habit. Silly.
Yeah.
So I'll check it on my desktop maybe once or twice a day, but it's not as prevalent. And the other thing I just want to add is, even if you have 1 minute, that thought choice that you have before you even open your eyes, the concept of choosing your thoughts in that moment is like the strongest, most powerful moment. Because if you can lie in bed before your eyes even open, the alarm clock is going or a kid is coming, whatever the situation is, if you can choose in that moment a positive, like invigorating thought for the day, you're already winning. You don't even need a whole morning routine. Something like, I mean, anything. Everyone has their mantra or their thoughts or their, positive, I don't know, affirmations, whatever it is. But being intentional about what you think, even if today, if you think today's going to be a good day, I'm going to show up as the best version of myself where I can today. I'm going to get my shit together today. I mean, there's really like multiple ways you can go. Or I'm just going to get through today. I'm going to get through today. Even if you're going through a super hard time, you don't have to be super positive. But the act of choosing that thought in that moment is very empowering. And Mel Robbins, by the way, she has a lot of these incredible pieces of advice of what to do in your day or in your, the 5-second rule, the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, just jump out of bed. You brought her up as a great example. She has her other book, The High Five Habit, where you actually high five yourself in the mirror. All these things are based on science. This is what she says. And like the fact is that you really can be an instrumental in these really tiny things in putting together a morning routine that may even be 5 minutes. What about picking 3 things you're grateful for? What about sending a text to a friend? I have this with one friend. We message each other when we're trying to wake up at a certain time to get through a certain routine, if we're in a time of life that we want to do that. And we message each other good morning to like show accountability. And just that, like the minute you do that, you're like, I'm not going to go now and sit on Instagram. I'm like, I've messaged with my friend Romy. I'm going to call her out. And we're like on track together. She's getting up. I'm getting up. We're putting on our gym clothes. I'm heading for a run. She's getting on her Peloton, whatever it is. And like, you're in it with someone. So find a buddy if you need to.
I love that advice. That's such great advice. And I also, to be honest, love that you just gave me permission to start my day with a shower. I feel like I have this, and many of us that feel this pressure to like, I need to exercise first thing. No. And because when I do it, I do feel great, but I have a hard time doing it. And so I throw out the morning routine altogether because I can't exercise. Yeah. So thank you for giving me permission to just start with a shower. I love that.
Love that sometimes, quite honestly. I'm like, you said earlier, the whole concept of shoulding all over yourself, like you should work out and you should do this. If you just let that go and you replace it with I can work out if I want to, or I can have a shower and get ready for my day and take a few extra minutes to do the makeup and the hair and feel like a human and feel like you've had time to get yourself ready in the morning is as powerful as an exercise routine. Unless you're not fitting in the exercise any other time. Then we have to rethink it. But today I'm going at 5:30 because I didn't go this morning. I took the time to get dressed and ready. I took the time to sleep in a little bit till 7:45. And then I took my daughter to daycare. So I'm going to gym at 5:30 after we record this.
Amazing. Okay. I don't want our time to end without us having some time just to talk about business and business growth.
Oh, yes. Now we can be juicy. Yes.
Talking love language, because the people listening to this are interior design professionals, they're firm owners, and they are mostly looking to improve how they do business and grow and make more money. And so I feel like the conversation we're having about the morning routine is, I imagine, one of the I'm not going to say first steps because there's lots of factors in growing a business, but I would imagine it's an integral part of growth. Like most of the successful people that you see who run successful businesses have some form of morning routine. Yeah. They're not just rolling out of bed and heading to the office. Do you want to talk about that? Like the connection there?
Oh, it is like you've hit the nail right on the head. This is why I was so inspired to explore this over the past multiple years for myself, because every successful person that I looked up to, success is relative. So what I deemed as successful for a person, and I looked up to them and wanted to sort of reflect or mirror what they were doing, it all came back down to the same place, which is they do have some kind of morning routine. They do have some type of process where they read and or learn something that is of interest. So therefore, not the fiction, not anything like that. That's the learning, that's the growth, maybe mindset stuff, maybe gratitude, maybe anything like that, practice. But there's some kind of intentional learning and soulful, mindful activity, exercise, making sure that their day and their schedule is set up for success. And that's where the business growth and the whole concept of this is why I get so excited, because we all think, oh, such a long to-do list. We've got to have that to-do list on point and then just power through the million things in the day. And in actual fact, to-do lists can be actually toxic, because all they do is they're never ending. No matter how much you get done, there's always something more to add to it. And what it does then is make you feel like you are not completing, you're not being productive, you're not getting anywhere. So I say, and I spoke about this on Breakfast Television, put the to-do list away. Do it once a week. Have your running to-do list on one page in your notebook or on your laptop or in your planner, however you like to do it. But then each day in the morning, pick 3 to 5 specific priorities, specific and measurable priorities for that day, no matter how big or small, personal or professional, and nothing else gets done until those 3 to 5 things are complete.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously,
I just want to say I love that. I use the Full Focus Planner, which you can't see here. It's the Michael Hyatt. No, I've got a virtual. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
And I'm not. Sorry, I'm getting my planners confused. Not that. The oh my God, my 5-minute journal.
5-minute journal. I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah.
I knew it.
And I do that, like, what do I want? Like, what is the intention for the day? And I love that you say that. And the Full Focus Planner does that too, where they have you pick 3 priorities for the day.
Oh, I actually didn't know that. That is amazing. That 5-minute journal is fantastic. I have quite a few clients who use it. And I just do free flow journaling when and if I want to. I don't do it every day. I'm just saying I do not should journal all over myself every day.
Yes,
but,
thank you for saying that.
Oh my gosh, yes. The other thing is meditation. I don't like to meditate. I've tried it. It doesn't work for me. It makes me feel sleepy and fall back to sleep. So I don't do that either. I will tell you though, and I don't know, you can see this, is I created these Post-it notes for myself that are regular Post-it notes, and they say Minx your morning, which is like my phrase for like how to really have a powerful morning. They have 5 little lines on them and 5 little check boxes next to each line. And so from my long to-do list, I will take one of these Post-its. I will write down the 3 to 5 things. It's always 5, just by the way. And actually I add in an extra 6. I'm just saying, I'm just being real. But nothing more than what absolutely has to get done. I close the to-do list, it goes away. And I can't focus on anything else until these are done. And it's right in front of me. I put it either on my laptop or I put it up on the wall right in front of me. And it just enables you to focus on what really needs to be done and not all the peripheral things that can be done. And so talking about business owners, which is your community of these driven, successful, amazing interior designers and people in the design space, this is a way to like streamline what is really a priority versus what's not. Because procrastination is really just you doing other things that you think are necessary, but they're not really necessary if you had to really look. So picking what needs to be intentionally done for your day, doing some form of either written or reading, learning or growth in the morning, amazing, and working out your body, just power. And it doesn't need to be like a long run or a full class. You could do some breathing. You could do a stretch. You could do, I know Tony Robbins does this massive breathing exercise and technique. You don't even need, if your kids are asleep, it's fine. It's priming, and it's like breathing and putting your arms up and down while you're breathing deeply. You maybe would listen to a prompted like breath work, something that is useful. A stretch, anything, that is still body work. So there we go.
I love that. I love that. Setting your day up for success. I mean, I think that that's so powerful. That's something I've been trying to practice is I just pick 3 things. I find that's a lot, probably maybe because I'm picking big things, but it's a good reminder when you start to, like, so what happened to me yesterday, and people can probably relate to this, is, you know, I had this big task that I've needed to do. I'm behind schedule. It is this specifically, it's a stage talk that I'm giving in Vegas at the end of the month. And I need to pre-submit my PowerPoint, but I haven't done the talk yet, right? Or I hadn't done the talk. But then there were other things that needed my attention. And so I'm like, well, I just want my brain immediately went to, this was yesterday, went to, okay, maybe I'll just collect all those passwords that I need for there's a launch company that's helping me with my next launch because I can't do it all myself. And I'm like, maybe I'll just get them the passwords and then I can just collect. They need access to my Google folder and they need access to my project photos, but I don't want to give them all of them. So I can just do that first. And I just want to get that done and out of the way.
Totally.
And there was something else that was like that task that I just wanted to get done and out of the way. And I stopped myself, Liat. I was very proud of myself. I was like, okay, is that going to move the needle? And yes, it's important, but what is the priority task? It's getting this freaking stage talk completed and making it kick-ass awesome, because I want to kill it when I'm in Vegas. And if I wait 2 days to give the password doc, whatever, things are going to be fine.
Absolutely. You did exactly what was needed.
Fighting myself. It was like unnatural to me because I just love checking things off a list. And it can be so tempting to take the low hanging fruit. Like, what's quick and easy? Oh, let me just go through my inbox.
Yeah.
Right. And then
or like calling a doctor to make an appointment. You're like, oh, I feel so good. I made that call. Totally. But this is why I think that rewiring of what productivity really means is so important. Because if you get that one essential big task or small task off the list, that is so much more productive than 10 little mundane tasks.
Yeah.
So good.
I know.
I like that. Thank you. That's a perfect example. Perfect example. I will add one last thing, and then I think we can take this wherever you want. We can wrap it up. But the last thing, because you just said, maybe it's because I've got big tasks or big priorities on my list. You must make sure they're specific and measurable so that you can literally tick it off. Saying something like business strategy for Q3, like that is too broad. That is not a task for your priority post-it, right? Create your own post-it, put 5 things on a post-it note, 3 things on a post-it note, whatever it is. But that is too big. It's too fluffy. It's got to be, perhaps you're writing the skeleton or you're writing the first draft of that business strategy for Q3, or just picking the revenue amount or creating the Excel sheet, like whatever it is that you do, or it's hiring the right coach or joining Rebecca's program or whatever it is, researching it, like making a decision about joining your program could be on the list if you've done all the research before, if you've got to a point where now I'm decision ready, but you may not be ready. So perhaps it's research Rebecca's program. Right? So make it specific and measurable.
I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh. So much wisdom. We're going to have you back on the podcast to talk about more things. We can
I love your examples. I love chatting with you anytime. I feel like this has to be continued. We have to go for dinner, but it will have to end early because I'm going to bed early. Just saying.
I know. That's fine by me. You can help train me.
I love it. I love it. Just pick one thing to start. If it's your 5-minute journal every day, do that for a week and then we'll chat in the morning.
Yeah. Okay. I will keep you posted, lady. Absolutely. Especially when it's like nicer weather. The sun is out. It gets bright early. It is a lot easier. Nice. I do wake up naturally. That's the thing. I wake up naturally and then I'm like, meh,
what do I do?
And I go back to sleep.
So you need to plan what you're doing the night, like the day or the night before, or even the week before, and be like, this is what I'm doing on these mornings. Otherwise, that openness just leaves time for procrastination. To be discussed. We'll discuss it next time.
To be continued. We'll have to do another part 2.
I'd love it.
Okay, one last nugget of wisdom for our listeners before you head off to the gym.
Wow, so great. Thank you for asking. I mean, when you first said to me that I needed to think of a nugget of wisdom, we've gone totally in a different direction, but that's fine. But I'm going to turn it all around. It's a totally different topic. But I will say this, I coach on this all the time. It is part of the reason, probably the biggest reason, that I am grateful and thankful and grateful to be in the position that I am with my business. And that is connecting with people and making that a priority. So my nugget of wisdom is, if you are a business owner and you are looking to grow, think about how you are connecting with people, the most random of people or the most strategic of people. Are you being a kind human? That's number one. Number two, are you doing like really good, authentic outreach, not just like commenting and engaging on their social or like hanging in the back? Like, reach out to people, communicate with them, talk to people, get back in person, like really see how you can serve someone else before putting yourself first. And I'll take it one step further as I close this, and that is, you really never know who you're going to be meeting and who you're going to be talking to and what they can bring to your life and what you can offer to them. And so my advice to you is, look up in the supermarket, look up when you walk into your kids' school or camp, and greet people and connect with people and ask questions and be curious and share what it is that you do, because you really never know where it could lead you. So it's all about connection. I'm a massive fan. It's huge in business success. So good luck. And if anyone wants to connect with me, they're more than welcome. There you go.
Absolutely. And I love that, because you just, at the beginning of this podcast, shared that example of being at your kid's school and connecting with someone who got you that opportunity on breakfast television. So, I mean, you are truly practicing what you preach, Liat, which I love.
Thank you.
I love that advice, like to show up as your best self every day as much as you can and be present. Oh my God. Amazing. Okay. Where can everyone follow and find you?
Thank you. Instagram and LinkedIn, my name, Liat Horovitz, and my website, www.liathorovitz.com.
Easy peasy. Well, thank you so much for joining me, and we will definitely have you back.
I'm absolutely thrilled. I love your vibe and energy. We had this before. We're going to have to do something again soon. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, I loved that conversation. Honestly, I felt like we did not have enough time. We both had tight schedules, and I hope we can have her back on the podcast to dive into more things business development, because I think she has a lot of wisdom to share. And I just find her energy so contagious. Also, her accent, how cool. I'm curious, how many of you have a morning routine? Is this something that you've had always? Is it new? Or are you like me and still trying to grasp one? Let me know in the Designer Meetups Facebook group. Let's get a conversation going in there about morning routines and what's working for everyone. Because I think it's a great reminder that Liat says we need to eliminate all those shoulds, like that you feel like you should do something when you just need to do what works for you. I hope you enjoyed that episode. Again, we mentioned Power of Process. That is my program that she mentions, my signature program. You guys are going to love it. If you're looking to elevate your interior design business, please go check it out, RebeccaHay.com/Power of Process. You can secure your spot. The fall session starts on September 26th. If you're listening to this one in real time, then you have the opportunity to join us and elevate. I'm excited for it to start. That's all, folks. I hope you enjoyed this episode with Liat.